Hello and welcome back. Today's project is something I saw Mike Peace do on YouTube some time ago, and I really fancied having a go, and I've got bits of wood lying around to do it. On top of that, I've incorporated some rather inspirational ideas from Brendan at BMAC Wood Turning and from Keith Barrow. From Brendan, I've got the idea of burning using kitchen laminate, although I've actually tried both ways with this project, both using wire and kitchen laminate. And I was inspired when I saw Keith Barrow doing some finial work. Now, the finial I've made, I'm not actually sure you could call a finial, but we'll see. It is at least a small button on the top of one of the pieces. So what the video is going to be about is about making needle boxes or pill boxes, and I've made 2 or 3 of these, and this is one I made early on, just a very basic piece, and this was burnt using copper wire, and I actually cut the little segments that I burnt first with a chisel. And the second piece is this one, and this was done using the laminate method. Again, you can see through there. And what actually happened was on the lid, I parted off a little bit close to the internal, and the nib of the Forstner bit I used showed through. So I had a little hole, so I made a little nub. As I say, I'm not sure you can call that a finial, but I've just put that on through the hole and just glued that on with CA glue. So 2 little boxes, 2 little needle boxes, or call them what you like, pill boxes, and that's what the video today is going to be about. So I'll put the links to Brendan and Keith and Mike Peace in the description just below, and thanks for tuning in. I hope you enjoyed the video. So here's the piece of wood we're going to use. It's a piece of tulip wood, and I've obviously taken it to round, and I'm just now taking it down to fit the chuck. Unfortunately, I don't have any pin jaws, so what I'm having to do is make it small enough and long enough to go into the centre of the chuck itself to support the box as it's cut. A little remeasurement there, just need to take it down a little bit more. Having done so, it's now time to fit the chuck. As you can see, I'm still using the chuck with the extension on the adapter, which does introduce a little bit of vibration, and you can see that a little bit later when I'm drilling. There's a little bit of a wobble on there. There's not much I can do about that at the moment. Just lining it up to make sure it's square before tightening up the chuck itself. And now to cut the inside of the lid using a Forstner bit, and I'm going to go in about 3/4 of an inch or so, which just happens to line up with the little mark behind the Forstner bit itself. So I'll just cut this now.
having used a 25mm Forstner bit here, you'll notice when it's spinning that the edge of the lid, I didn't face it off, and that's going to come back to haunt me later. Just cleaning up with the scraper, I just marked where I'm going to part off so I didn't take my pencil line away. And having done all that, I'm going to now cut the lid. Just part it off from the rest of the body. You'll notice as the lid comes off, there's quite a long nub left on. That's because I cut just a little bit too close to where the tip of the Forstner bit had been. So now a 20mm Forstner bit, and a little bit of wobble on this as it drills in, which I suspect has something to do with the vibration caused by the extension adapter on the chuck. I'm going to have to get that dealt with sooner rather than later. And just marking off the depth on the Forstner bit. The chuck itself, the Jacobs chuck that I'm using, is actually off my pillar drill. It happens to be Morse paper too, so I just took it off the pillar drill and put it onto the lathe. You can see the movement there. But it's no big deal. I don't need absolute accuracy with this. Just cleaning off the inside. Then I take the Jacobs chuck out so that if anything happens and I pull my hand away quickly, I don't end up with a Forstner bit in the back of my hand. It's very painful. I've done it once. I don't intend to do it again. So as soon as I finish cutting, out comes the Jacobs chuck, and then I can get on with checking. So now we need to cut the tenon for the lid. It's almost there, just a fraction more. The lid fits nicely. But one thing about having the hole in the top of the lid is I can bring the centre back up and not worry about it marking the lid. Just have to back off the tailstock a little bit to allow my tool rest to get in. I'm just going to use a spindle gouge now, just to clean up once I've remembered to tighten up the tool rest. And then just cleaning up the top of the lid. Now you can see there that the lid isn't fitting quite as well as it should because I didn't face off the lid properly. So to get around that, I'm just using a parting tool, and I'm going into the lid and the body of the box so that I get two square edges. Can't quite get all the way through the lid because it starts to spin independently. So I just took it off and sanded that off. Just need to face that off a little bit more. It fits much better. What I need to do next time is remember to just undercut that edge slightly on the tenon side so that the lid fits flush. But at least it's even all the way around now. So I've just got a bit of wet kitchen towel. Just helps jam the lid on, and it just swells the wood slightly so that things are nice and tight. I've just marked where the bottom of the box is going to be, and now I can get on with some sanding. You'll notice I've just moved the box out of the chuck slightly so that try and be safe. And here I'm actually burning using the laminate. I only had the speed about 500 revs here. It took quite a while to do. I realise it now, and just speed it up, and that makes life much easier for burning. I think I will next time just make a slight groove with the chisel before I start with this, because the laminate is a little bit flexible, and you don't notice it here so much, but when I rotate by hand you'll see that the two marks in the lid are actually not parallel all the way around. I'm not quite sure what happened with that, probably just a little bit of slippage or something. You can see there that they're not quite square, so using a chisel will help that. So on with a little bit of sanding sealer, and we'll let that dry. Just darkening up a couple of the slots. The problem is once you do one, you've then got to do all of them, so I'm probably messing around too much. One on the lid here that starts to come away, realise my error and stop at that point. So having let it dry, just some 00 wire wool, finish off another coat of sanding sealer, and there I've made the little finial for the top. It's actually made out of a bit of old garden chair leg. I'm not sure what the wood is, but it's some wood I had lying around, and I rather like the colour of it against the tulip wood. You can clearly see the lines on the lid there aren't parallel, so just waxing up and then buffing up to finish, and then I'll part it off. It makes a very nice little needle box, or putting toothpicks in, whatever takes your fancy. So that's it done, parted off, and here's the finished article. Thanks very much for watching. I hope you enjoyed it.